Entries wanted!
So the last day of
97, I've been told shouted from backstage. 4 hours of a 100-hour D&D campaign today. There's been 96 hours of build-up to this point. So, obviously, if at any point during the show, you, as an audience member who may not have kept up with the 96 hours of show, want to know what's going on in more detail, please feel free to shout out from the audience, I'm confused, what's going on. In fact, let's test you all very quickly. Can I have a panto-style ooh on 3? 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Excellent, thank you very much. In that vein, if you want to say anything or make anything at that kind of volume level, please do. Shout out, ask us what's going on. We will happily assist you along the way. In line with that, we have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience, from yourselves. That is to benefit people who would not be able to be still and silent for an hour. In that vein, the lights will stay exactly the same. The music will be in the background. There will be no loud, sudden noises apart from our voices through the microphones. And if at any point during the show you need to pop out for any reason, the 2 doors you came in on your left are free and available for you, and there is a foyer space where Sweet company staff will be happy to assist you. They are wearing red or black t-shirts with the Sweet logo on them, so do grab them. You'll need to grab one of them to get back in, because the doors are on a key fob, and we're locked in from the outside, so you're fine in here. You can leave if you want to, just making clear. Apart from that, if you need assistance in the room, our stage manager Naomi is over there. There she is. If you need assistance in the room, just give her a look or give her a wave and she'll happily come over and help you with anything you need. However, let's get on with the show. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons! Yeah. Who in this room is not au fait with D&D? No one. Splendid. To make sure we're all on the same page, the 4 players to my left and right play characters in a shared fantasy universe. I play the rest of the shared fantasy universe. So everything they encounter, all the people, all the battles, everything else, that's all me. Or is it? We shall see. Ooh, there's an excitement for the last hour. There we go. Hello, Ed. Late arrival, friend of ours. The 4 players to my left and right have character sheets in front of them that give them special abilities, mostly adding numbers to a d20 roll, which is this dice here. I've been told that it's called an icosahedron if you're particularly nerdy. 1 rolled on these dice are particularly bad. A 20 or anything above it is particularly good. So please feel free to cheer and or boo, depending on the situation at hand. So, before I try and explain 96 hours of backstory, let's meet all of the players who are playing today. Starting on my right, can you please give your name, your pronouns, your character's name, their pronouns, and a little bit about them? For example, I'm Chris, I'm the DM, and I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character Flair, who is a fire genasi bard, so musical magic type stuff, and also she looks kind of like me but red skin and instead of hair flames, so anthropomorphized candles vibe. Have you been waiting to do that for the entire
You and I have not played together for the entire show. I've been waiting all this time to do it.
Oh yes, obligatory PSA/joke that I make at the top of every hour. Flair speaks with a fantasy New Zealand accent, which is not to be confused with a real life New Zealand accent. And it's a very conscious, daring, avant-garde decision whenever I veer away from what you might think is a real New Zealand accent.
We've also established in universe that her father is Taika Waititi. That's just an establishment, that is a given, that is
not
canon.
A version of Taika Waititi.
The actual genuine
Taika
Taika
Waititi.
Yeah. The man who directed Thor Ragnarok, for those who aren't aware. There we go.
Oh, right, okay.
Korg
from Thor Ragnarok. There we go. Right, that was a nice long intro. Jamie.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm a he, him, and so is my character. Now, up until now, I was playing a wonderful druid. He died yesterday. So, yeah. That's
Oh, no, he didn't just die yesterday. He was erased from time.
Yeah, pretty much. He turned into a bad guy.
No one even knows he existed.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
No worries, man.
So I'll be playing a new character, which is a Air Genasi cleric of the Grave Domain. So he's been looking after the graves in town, and he too has a totally fantasy Louisianan accent. So if any screw-ups at all, that is deliberate and not a reflection of me as a player or my voice acting abilities.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
I'm Chaz, he, him, and my character Kidmat John is also he, him. Kidmat is the single remaining alive fan favourite character.
You're forgetting Dottie.
Dottie Hearthfire.
Oh, is Dottie alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course Dottie's alive.
Not for long, apparently.
Kidmat is a fur-balled paladin, which means he is a 7 foot tall, blue-skinned cow person. He speaks with a 100% accurate Minnesota and any deviations from said accent are a complete failure by me as a player performer. And his friendly demeanour hides an insatiable bloodlust.
Do you want to talk about what we found out last time we saw Kidmat?
So Kidmat's super friendly and nice, but it turns out that he has a lot of whip marks on his back because the cultists who ruled over them for 5 years treated the cow people like they were cows.
Yeah, he's got a brand as well.
Yep, brand as well.
Let's establish that the cult are nasty. Good.
Right, so appropriately sitting on the far left this time. My name's Vivek, he, him pronouns, as with my character. My character's name is Marx. He is a dwarf barbarian who joined this revolution to seize the means of production and overthrow the bourgeois oppression of the cult. His accent is entirely mine. Everyone's confused by where it's from, so am I. Make of it what you will. I once had someone say it was a cross between Ireland, Canada, and New Zealand, and I think that makes no sense to me whatsoever. I've never lived in any of those places.
I can genuinely hear it though.
And I think I also owe an apology to everyone who's watching on Twitch because I was partially responsible for the delay in the stream starting. So sorry about that. Long story.
He was handing out soda rolls. Soda rolls. He made his own bread, handed them out to the players and the audience. I love this game. Right, okay. What happened in the last 96 hours? Okay. Give me a sec. Good. The 4 players to my left and right are members of a rebellion. They rebelled against a horrible evil cult that took over their world. The evil cult forced them to mine dangerous magical ore from the ground, which had strange explosive and time travel properties. However, they rebelled. And as they rebelled, they pushed the cult back out of their town, out of their country, out of their plane of existence, and pushed the cult completely out of their world. However, the rebellion, some of the leaders certainly, decided it would be more advantageous to continue fighting said cult and take them out completely over worries they may return, which it turns out they were planning on doing, so that's probably a good thing. They've now fought them back to an area called the Nexus. The Nexus is a clockwork universe. The floors, ceiling, walls are all made of slowly twisting, toothed gear and machinery, which means that people can't stand still because the floor keeps moving. Just give you a little idea of that. The center of this space is the only still point, a gigantic green crystal that the party in the last hour managed to purify. It was corrupted by this ore, but is now a pure green glowing crystal that has just opened a portal back to their hometown, reading into the desires of some of the players to return home, but also, unfortunately, giving the remaining cultists who are currently fighting them an area to get back to their place. Not good, guys, not good. But as we open this hour, some of your party entered into the crystal through a complicated thing I'm not going to go into now. Okay. Time seemed to slow and then stop, and you almost had to blink and miss it, and then the people who went into the crystal are now back outside and with you in this area as a wall of this Nexus area, this clockwork wall, is smashed apart, and a gigantic engine of hellish proportion is smashing through the wall with a floating monster with tentacles with eyes on the end of them and a large central eye floating with it. Yep, good. Yep, good. However, the large central eye of this creature has been replaced by a clockwork eye, a bit like a camera iris with strange gears and steampunk elements to it. As it flies into the room and this machine smashes through the wall, the rebellion on one side, the cultists swarming out with this machine on the other, come into this room, and it looks like this is going to be the final battle.
I would like to use Sacred Weapon.
Yeah, fine.
And then as my bonus action, could I cast Sanctuary on myself?
Yeah, of course you can. Good. That's all allowable. I will give you all an action, or if you'd like to say something before we dive straight in.
Oh, as far as Kidman knows, he's the only Furbolg of the rebellion.
For now, yeah.
Oh.
So the character who got erased from time was a Furbolg as well.
Yeah. The only other Furbolg.
I think there were some others. Right. Anything you'd like to do, Jan, before we dive in? Obviously, as a new character, you've been here this entire time in the back, going "Brrr" in the background.
I've been supporting from the sidelines.
There we go. Anything you'd like to do as a quick action before we dive into combat?
Yeah, I would like to cast my spiritual weapon.
Okay. What is your spiritual weapon?
It's like a little arrow, shaped like a needle.
Okay.
It kind of hovers there.
Okay. Lovely. A little floating arrow, like a needle. Flair, anything you'd like to do? As this moment happens, you could talk to your allies potentially if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, Flair's gonna, I'm guessing that we don't really have that much time, so she's probably, rather than doing like a full song, it's just, and then that's inspiration to everyone else.
You can only give inspiration to one person with an inspiration use.
Not to be awful,
Yes.
previously in this game I've sung a song and given inspiration simultaneously to 3.
Okay, you know what? I'll allow it.
Just because it's
This is going to be tough. I'll allow it.
Is that D10 now?
Yes, a D10.
D10.
Sorry, that's just, I wouldn't have said otherwise.
No, totally fair. You all have a D10, which you can add to any 20-sided dice roll of your choosing at any point. You may also add it to a damage roll because Flair is a bard of valor, certain kind of D&D class. As I said, special abilities. Marks.
Okay, so as it's the last day of the Fringe, may as well. I'm going to sort of bring out my massive warhammer.
Excellent.
Stomp back and forth in front of all the dwarves who are around and hanging around. And
Your
shout,
army is made up largely of dwarven barbarians, elven rogues, human sorcerers, a smattering of others, but generally fantasy archetypes.
Excellent. And wave the hammer around and shout, "They may take our lives!"
Oh god.
And suddenly remember that that is a rather awkward thing to be saying at this point in the country. And say instead, "But they will never quell this rebellion!
Hey!
Godspeed, rebels!"
And you all...
For the first time in this whole rebellion, Kidman looks genuinely angry.
Oh!
At the beholder.
At the beholder.
Usually his bloodlust is tempered with a smile. Not today.
Probably a good time for that to happen. As the beholder
boy.
floats in front of this gigantic machine and floats up towards the ceiling, out of melee combat range, it floats up and all of you laughing uproariously, and as it does, its clockwork eye starts to twist, bits of it clicking and whirring, and under its breath it appears to be muttering some kind of incantation. As it mutters said incantation, you all feel a strange headache that passes very briefly. And Chargask, as this beholder is called, laughs and says, "You fools. I've already won, or if I haven't, the paradox will destroy you." Let us roll initiative.
Yay!
Feral instinct, I get advantage on initiative rolls.
Yes, you do. Well, that's a good start for me.
19.
Excellent.
13.
13.
10.
10.
I'm trying to find my initiative. Plus 20. So 20. Yes, 20 made up 2. Yes.
20 made up to.
Plus 20. What am I saying? It's early in the morning, guys.
That's absolutely fine. Jan, you have the first action. What would you like to do?
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
There is this gigantic machine forward, hundreds of cultists swarming around it. Your own allies are all around you, raring to go, about to pounce forward into battle.
I was not prepared for this. I will go up. I will try a guiding bolt at the beholder.
Excellent. Make an attack roll.
21.
21.
Yes.
As your guiding bolt streaks towards the beholder, its eye clicks again. And as it clicks around, time seems to reverse, and your guiding bolt goes back into your hand, unfired. That was your action.
Do I expend my spell slot still?
Yes.
Ah, man! Finding a beholder Beholder's normally bad. This sucks even worse.
That is a nicely tweaked version of Counterspell for you there.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Thank you.
I'm going to send my spiritual weapon up to it.
The spiritual weapon starts floating up. It has a speed of 20, so it won't reach it on this round, but it will on the next round. Make a note of that. Starts flying forward. And is now flying up towards the Beholder. Lovely. It is now the Beholder's turn. As it starts to move, the cultists around it, they're mostly not engaging in combat. Quite a few of them are stepping forward to meet the oncoming advance of your own forces, running forward to deal with this encounter. The cultists are stunned by the onslaught as a huge number of your allies and these barbarian sorcerers and elves are smashing into their ranks, doing incredible damage as they appear to fall back a little bit. However, most of the cultists are not fighting. They appear to be fixing and fiddling around with the machine. But we'll come back to that.
Oh boy.
So, the Beholder, still laughing uproariously, appears to move very quickly, almost like it can stretch time around it. And as it does, its beams on its eyes start glowing as it starts firing them out indiscriminately towards you guys and the rest of your people. Kidmat, the first one is targeted at you.
Yay!
Can you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom save.
Thank you.
That is 13.
13. The air around you seems to suddenly quieten and deafen. You realise that you can't hear anything happening in this battle. As you open your mouth and try and talk, nothing comes out. You are silenced. The second beam comes flying out. Flair, it hits you. Can you please make a dexterity saving throw?
I don't know which ones of these dice I trust. Dex save.
Dex save.
Dex save. 12.
Oh,
Ah.
Oh dear,
That's
dear.
getting used again.
Cool. 8. 23. 26 plus 8 is 34. Plus another 14 is 48. Plus 6 is 54. You take 54 points of force damage as a disintegration ray burns across you, basically disintegrating quite a lot of your surface flesh.
Wait a minute. When you say burning,
Not burning.
it's not any kind of fire.
Nope, it's force damage.
It's force damage. Okay. It's fine. I've still got 26 hit points left. It's fine.
Good start from me.
It's fine.
Right. The third one. Oh god, it's you. It's a flare. It's you again. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Bye, everyone. okay.
I am rolling at random.
The one that I bought in Edinburgh. Wisdom save, you say?
Yes, please.
That's an 8 with no modifier.
You again, much like Kidmat, are silenced and cannot act on this turn. 3 further rays from the Beholder, because it would normally only fire 3 on its round, but guess what? It stretched time and has 2 actions. Burn through your crowd of allies. Some of them are frozen, petrified in place. Some of them are disintegrated on the spot. Others appear to be confused or have no idea what's going on around them. The creature laughs as it flies forward over you, watching this whole situation unfurl, laughing. Still laughing. Marks, what would you like to do?
Okay, first up, start raging.
Sure.
Because I think the circumstances really call for that.
I agree.
Second, can I start mowing through all the mooks who are tinkering with the machinery? Would that in some way hamper the operation of the Beholder?
You can certainly try. They are currently behind a wall of other cultists dealing with your allies.
Okay. And I'm too far to hit the actual thing, right?
You could use a javelin.
Yeah, I'm gonna fling a javelin at it.
Excellent. You do get, is it 2 or 3 attacks now that you get?
2.
2.
I'm going to try a reckless attack just so.
You reckless attack with your 2, just
Oh wait,
throwing...
no, that'll get an advantage on. No, I'm not reckless attacking this because that'll kill me in one hit.
Very well. You throw 2 javelins.
The first one is a modified 27.
That hits.
The second one is 19. Modified.
They both hit.
Excellent.
Please give me the damage on those.
So that's d6. 17.
17 points of damage. Your two javelins shriek into the air, your rage and anger just behind them as they go flying towards the beholder, clipping it on two sides. It stops laughing. It uses one of its legendary actions to fire an eye beam at you. Can you please give me a dexterity saving throw?
16.
16. A beam, a grey beam streaks towards you. You get advantage on dexterity saving throws when you're raging.
Natural 20.
There we go. It streaks across the ground. Where it touches the gears, they seem to almost ossify, calcify, and stop moving. The other gears run clicking awkwardly against them, but you step out of the way, able to avoid the petrification ray. Kidmat!
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
What are you up to?
Well, I'm silent. I know that, right?
You are silent, which means you can't cast spells.
Oh, dear. Whatever shall I do?
Is this sass, Chaz, is it?
Yes. How thick is this wall of
Cultists?
Yeah.
It's a good 3 people thick at this point, and there's also all of your allies, almost line on line,
Right.
ramming into each other. Not that
Now,
way.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Now it says it's because of furbolgs, it's one size larger when you're pushing and all of that stuff.
Very true.
Now, what is jumping but just pushing off the ground?
There are rules for jumping. There's 10 plus feet you can do, and jump a number of feet up to your strength score. When you make a standing jump, you can do blah blah. Okay, I'm going to say that you can double your strength score in terms of how far you can jump, because you're right, jumping is just pushing off the ground. What is your strength score?
My strength score is 18, that's plus 4.
So you can jump 30... 18 times 2, 36? Yes.
36 feet.
You can jump 36 feet. You can jump 36 feet. Would you like to jump 36 feet?
I would like to jump the melee and start hammering on this hellish machine.
You take a running jump. Make an athletics check to see how far, see if you can get over everyone, because there's also a fight going on, lest we forget. 18. You, with a howl of anger that no one can hear, start running forward and leap over this gigantic leap over everyone else and land on the far side amongst the cultists dealing with said machine.
I'm just going to attack the machine.
The machine itself, okay.
Twice and both divine.
Yep, of course. Make your attack rolls.
Okay, I'm adding plus. What's my charisma? Okay, I'm adding plus 11 to
Mm-hmm.
this. Right, okay. 18 on the first one. And I'll just do the second one as well. And 27 on the second.
Both of yours smash into this gigantic machine, both divine strikes impacting on it heavily.
Okay, that is. Oh god, sorry, this is the math portion now.
Quite all right. We're trying to run through the maths as fast as we can to tell the story.
12 slashing.
12 slashing.
And 13 radiant on the first.
So that's 25.
Yep.
Okay.
Second. And that is 12 slashing and 16 radiant on the second.
28, so a total of 53 points of damage to the machine with one strike. As you tear rents in the front of it with your sword, just hammering away at it, trying to have some impact on this gigantic machine. Even those two massive strikes against just the onslaught of this machine, bigger than you, far bigger than you, are but dents in its gigantic armour. Just so you're aware. Cool. As a legendary action, the beholder will use its action to fire another eye ray at you. Cool. Can you please make a Constitution saving throw?
Constitution.
Yes, please.
16.
A beam, a black beam, hits you from behind, and you don't see it coming because you can't hear anything. You immediately feel like there's a cloud passing in front of your vision, but it clears out of your mind, and you blink twice and continue with your assault, unaffected by the eye ray. Flare.
Yeah, so there's nothing I can do when I can't make sound.
I see you've got out all of your d20s, Chloe.
Yes, what I'm going to do is every time I roll a d20, if I don't like the result, I'm going to start moving to another one.
A bad player blames
And
their
I
dice.
Oh, some shade!
That hurt more than the beholder.
I'm sorry. I'm raging, I can't help it.
No, I mean, what I'm going to do is
Yep.
use Actually, I'll use. Well, if I roll another save against this effect, can I?
I'm sorry, which effect?
The silence.
Nope.
So I'm just
For a minute.
for a full minute.
Yup. Yes. Oh no, you can save against it, sorry. At the end of your turn. It is at the end of your turn.
And does that count as like an action in itself? Right?
No, it's the end of your turn.
Cool. I use the dash action
Mhm.
to put as much space between me and the beholder as possible. Like I will literally go and cower and hide behind like an outcrop of crystal or something.
Well, behind you, and behind your army, and what this machine is definitely heading towards, there is a giant portal that the crystal created back to Deriland. You could stand in front of it.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Okay, new plan. Quick
New plan.
question.
I'm gonna go home.
Quick question. How many cultists are there around this whole death machine thing?
Oh, hundreds.
Oh, hundreds. Okay. Back to the old plan. I'm gonna just run and basically, like, I'm not gonna be in the middle of. I'm gonna go to the side of the portal.
But you are next to the portal.
Yeah.
You can roll against the silence effect if you like.
Okay. See how this D20 does.
Yep.
What am I
Wisdom
rolling?
saving throw.
Oh, wisdom save.
Yep.
That is a 9.
Still silence. And the beholder.
Should I have saved against that at the end of mine? 'Cause I'm
Yeah,
saved.
go for it.
I'll do that now. Wisdom, is it?
Yes.
11.
Nope. The beholder will use its final legendary action on this round to target Jan with a final eye ray.
Oh boy.
Yep. That is that one. Can you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom save.
Yes, please.
Okay, I need to find the things. New character, who this? 18.
18. A beam washes over you, instantly feel sick to your stomach, but shake it off. You are not affected by the eye bite ray. Lovely. As this battle is happening, and as you can see as you are smashing into the front of this machine, cultists along the side of it are fiercely fixing armor plate, trying desperately to make it all fit together and work. Can you all please roll perception checks? You with disadvantage are a long way away.
Okay.
New dice.
Oh, that was so good. 14.
14?
11.
11?
18.
18 with disadvantage.
Oh, sorry. 13.
There we go.
I got overexcited.
19. You two can see that they are currently fixing some armor plate over what looks like 2 diodes. You know what diodes are in your current life, so use that as an example. 2 diodes with a rock of ore held in the middle that appears to be glowing and empowering this machine in some way, as you can see them fixing an armor plate over the side of it and welding it into place. As this happens...
By God, that's Leo West's music!
Soda bread?
Destruction. All around you. Death. Cultists lie bleeding, dead. Your allies dying on the floor. The machine inches from the portal where just seconds earlier Flair was cowering. Let me ask you, players, did you let the machine go through the portal? Towards your homeland? No. So, Flair, what was the last thing you did to stop this machine going through the portal?
The last thing, did she see the? She didn't see the diode.
Yep.
She didn't see that. I mean, the last ditch action would have been to use Dimension Door to teleport herself immediately next to the machine, or if she had seen at any point in the fight a way in or where it was manned or something like that. What she basically wants to do is, because her hair is, she doesn't have hair, she has fire. She wants to be like burning it from the inside.
You want a dimension door to inside.
If it's possible, yeah, because she has a
The
lot
tank.
of stuff around heating metal and things like that, so she would have actually just tried to heat it and
Okay.
set it on fire from the inside.
Sure. I'm going to say make a dexterity saving throw, just as, this is a clockwork machine and
Yeah.
you're teleporting inside of.
It was very much a last-ditch attempt. That's a 17.
17. Okay. As you crush yourself into this machine, you take 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
And do I take that?
Yes.
On my current. Okay.
Yes.
I'm confused about how.
You
damage
also
works.
mark the spell slot off.
I wasn't. Fuck. gonna.
Just saying. Just so we're all aware of what the stakes are. That's all. You're now inside the machine.
Okay.
You've used your action, and you're pinned by a bunch of clockwork all around you. You hope that your hair begins to heat some of the metal from within.
I can do more on my next action, but yeah,
she-
for the moment.
Does she get to save against the silence?
What silence?
I can look at me go, I can talk!
Has she finally figured out?
Kidmat, what was the last thing you did?
I wanted to attack its weak spot for massive damage.
Yeah, sure. So where was the weak spot?
It was the diode that I saw.
The diode that you saw. So you go round behind and roll an athletics check to see if you can pull up the armor plate that the cult was
One size larger, baby.
one size larger.
Please note you're watching all this happen in reverse.
9.
9. So Kidmat was pulling up the plate below, but you can't quite do it on your own. You turn and look around to see if there are any allies that might help you. Markson was there, was he not?
Yeah.
Markson, were you helping?
Yes, I'm gonna take the hammer and start sort of hammering upwards to break open the plate that he's trying
Roll
to
an attack roll.
That's
Are you rolling with
16.
advantage?
Oh yeah, and
Oh,
I'm
no, that's reckless.
Oh, I'm attacking reckless. So
Okay.
so my highest was a 16. I'm going to use the inspiration on that.
Okay.
17.
7.
Can I hit it?
What I'm going to say is
Oh no, that's only for the damage. Yeah.
only for the damage. Yeah. Okay. So what happened was that as Kidmat was there, desperately trying to pull this plate off as the machine rolled towards the portal, you had to get your hands out the way because Markson suddenly came along with a hammer and swung at you, and you just couldn't get the plate off the back. Yandu, you were watching all of this, but before you were able to act, or just after you acted, actually, the Hellfire's lightning whip raked out on Kidmat's, which was a 17 to hit.
Did it have to roll a wisdom save against my sanctuary to attack me?
How long does your sanctuary last?
I believe it's a minute.
It is a minute.
What do you reckon, DM?
I think it did, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wisdom saving throw. 19.
Yep, I'll do it.
19. So, yep. So did it hit you then?
It did hit me. Yes.
Okay, so you took 18 bludgeoning damage as this thing unfurled from the side of the tank and smacked you. This chain flickering with lightning energy. And you also took 22 lightning damage as it struck you. And then as that 22 lightning damage wrapped around you, the lightning jumped to Markson and also inside to Flare, because Flare wasn't inside actually yet. Flare was outside. Remember? Remember you were outside by the portal before you dimension doored in?
Oh, hang on.
Yes,
maybe
but I thought that
backwards.
at this point I was inside.
No, you did that after this happened.
We're going in.
You're going backwards in time.
Rewinding.
But I assumed that we were rewinding from the end
So
point.
Yeah, you are. The last
were
thing you did.
inside.
Reverse your turn.
Okay, sorry, I thought...
So, yeah, so the last thing that
I
happened...
think the last thing I ever did was essentially have to dimension door back out, because we started with me outside and then I go inside.
No, you were outside and then you went inside. You said the last thing you did to try and stop this thing getting through the portal.
Yeah, I thought I said, okay, whatever,
So-
just keep
Because
going.
you're at the no. So mechanically, you're at the bottom of the round in initiative order. So you went first, which means that you were still outside when all of this happened.
I
So-
don't think however much you explain it to me, I'm going to understand.
Okay, fair enough.
So let's just keep rolling on.
Well, in which case, you also can I get dexterity saving throws from everyone, basically?
Oh boy,
9.
not great.
22!
22?
This is my dice!
5.
5. Okay. Those of you that rolled 20 and above take 11 lightning damage as the lightning whip that had wrapped its way around Kidmat just before he tried to pull the panel off the back jumped to all of you. Those of you below 20 rolled get 22 points of lightning damage.
11.
Am I getting hit as well?
It's
or
lightning damage.
Radiant.
Oh yeah, you're. It's because of your bear totem. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Am I also getting that?
Yes.
Okay. 22.
22 points of lightning damage.
I think I rolled wrong then.
Yandu, before all of that happened, what were you doing to try and stop the...
Seeing where the ore was, he sent his spiritual weapon behind the grave and trying to get into it that way.
Fantastic. So your spiritual weapon was actually levering up where Kidmat was trying to pull it up as well.
Small gap, because it's a small needle.
Fantastic. Roll an attack roll.
Got inspo.
Oh yeah.
You have got inspiration.
Oh shit, even my inspiration dice are terrible.
Oh.
The ones that I'm not rolling.
So that would be spiritual weapon. Yep. 16.
16 doesn't manage to get in, which makes sense, of course, because Kidmat was there trying to lever it open as well, and it wasn't levered open when Kidmat got there. It's a good job that didn't create any type of paradox.
I'm just going to point out, I studied time travel at university, and even I'm finding this confusing.
So,
Oh, I've got a headache.
at the top of the round, returning to where we were when I was DMing, at the top of that round, the Beholder had just fired its rays at all of you. The machine was still being worked on. Kidmat's still trying to smash his way into it.
Damn
Are
it,
we
now.
carrying the same
Oh, damn it,
hit
which
points?
means we. Oh, bollocks. So if we accidentally create a contradiction, we're stuffed.
Yes.
Brilliant.
If anyone else has healing magic, I mean I do, but I go pretty much last, so...
And you're still silenced. And you're still silenced at this point.
10 minutes.
Oh wait, so we've skipped time back... Okay, so it doesn't join up currently, what that's...
It will.
But
Eventually.
but
If
we're
you
going
don't
right
stuff
back.
it up, it
Yeah.
will.
Oh, okay.
Jan, you go first. What would you like to do?
This is a very hard choice you put before me.
Correct!
Yes, I have taken notes of all of it.
The needle will continue up towards the Beholder.
Sure. Let's do your bonus action. Make an attack roll.
Nope. I'm
You're-
assuming a 9 does not hit.
A 9 does not hit it. The needle goes flying past the Beholder. It is, for its size and bulk, it is a large creature. It does manage to sort of jimmy around in the air as your needle shoots over the top of it and does not affect it.
And for my action, I will cast Toll the Dead on it.
Told the dead on the Beholder.
Yes.
Lovely. What am I rolling for that, or are you?
You are rolling for that. Wisdom
rolling?
save.
Wisdom save. That is a 13, I believe.
Does not make. Has it been damaged?
It has been damaged.
Excellent. So that's a lot of damage.
Good.
19, 24 plus 3, 27.
Toll the dead does 3d12.
If it's been damaged already, it does d12s instead of d8s. Yup.
How much damage was that?
27.
27!
Scaling cantrips.
Okay, I'm not happy.
You're not happy! I'm on a 10th of my hit point!
Yeah, that's kind of what's
Here's
supposed
the
to
thing,
happen.
we can't kill it, because if we kill it without letting it enter the portal with us trying to snap it open, we'll create a paradox that'll stuff everything.
The engine, not the Beholder.
Yeah.
The engine, yeah.
Your side is still winning in the fight against the cultists. They are smashing their way forward, doing considerable damage to the remaining cultists. You see some of the horrible monsters they've created being knocked aside by your friends. The barbarians raging and powering in to this wall of cultists, just breaking through them slowly, allowing better access to the engine if you so wanted to attack it. Be warned about time travel. Good. At which point, the Beholder... Hang on. Check something first. Nope, it can't stretch time anymore. What a shame. It is going to cast... Yes. Marks, can you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Oh no.
8. Yep, that's 8.
Cool. It casts a spell out of its eye towards you, and as the spell hits you, Doctor Strange-style twisty, portally things happen around you, and you realise that you are moving at half speed. You are slowed. That means you have a -2 penalty for your armor class and dexterity saving throws, and you can't use reactions. On your turn, you can take an action or a bonus action, not both, and you can only attack once with your attack action. You don't cast spells, that's irrelevant. You can roll at the end of your turn to try and avoid this effect. But for now, you are slowed down.
So that's -2 to armor class, -2 to dex saving.
Yes.
And what was the other one?
You can only take an action or a bonus action, only get one attack if you take the attack action.
Right.
You are slowed, because it is a time sorcerer. Cool. Kidmap, make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. 12.
12. Another beam rakes into your back, which you can't see or hear because it is behind you. You take disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks for 1 minute as you feel sickened. You can roll against this effect. Jan, make a hit strength saving throw.
Strength? No.
Strength.
8.
A telekinetic ray reaches out from one of its eyes, grabs a hold of you and lifts you off the ground. You are slowly being lifted off the ground, higher and higher. Please be aware of the fact that you are being lifted off the ground.
Can I use my reaction to grab?
Being taken high.
Jan is on the other side of the wall of cultists and fighters. He jumped over. You could use your turn to run over and try and help him, though. I will allow that. It's not lifted him high enough yet for that to be an issue.
Helping so much as higher means closer to the beholder.
Also true.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. However, Kidmat, as that happens, as you turn and see this happening and start making plans in your head to sort this situation out, a beam of crackling black energy impacts in the center of your chest. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Good.
15.
Have you added all your powers?
Oh, God.
Please tell me that you have, otherwise this is going to hurt.
Oh, do I get to add my wisdom model? Then it's like, then it's 19.
19.
Have you used your inspo?
No, I haven't used my inspo. Should I use my inspo on a 19?
I don't. It's a beholder. I don't know.
Modified 20.
Modified 20.
Everyone rolled a 1.
That's because you didn't finish the song.
I can't do anything now.
The black death ray impacts your chest, but almost your resolve, your paladin ability, every ounce of the anger and frustration at how this cult have treated you burns through you as again you scream silently as this beam is just pushed off you and disintegrated. You withstand the death ray. Lovely. It's really good that happened. Marks, what would you like to do?
So when you have a hammer this big, everything looks like a blasted nail.
And smash at it, basically.
Smash at what?
The beholder.
It is flying about 50 feet above
All
your
right,
head.
of course, I forgot I'm in the wrong one. Yeah.
You're in the wrong time stream.
Yeah. Am I close to any of the other sort of people tinkering with the?
They are on the other side of a wall of cultists and a wall of your allies.
What can I hit?
You can throw javelins at the beholder.
Fair enough. I'll just throw javelins at it.
You can do so recklessly if you like. Also, one of your allies is currently floating up and could be a useful trapeze, as we've discussed.
Yeah, I'm gonna trapeze. I'm gonna trapeze off it, but I can only take one action. So
Correct, and you have half movement.
good point.
Oh.
I'm gonna chuck a javelin at it.
Okay. I'm afraid you only get to throw one javelin because you are slowed. 12. Your javelin, as it leaves your hand, the momentum from your throw is slow. The javelin is not, so it just doesn't go very far. Sorry. No luck on that one, and at the end of your turn, it uses legendary action to use an eye ray. On Jan's already held up. It's going to keep trying to go for you, Kidmat. It is not happy. Can you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Wisdom save.
Don't forget to add all of your paladin stuff onto it.
Okay, wisdom save. 14.
14. You are afraid of it. As you try and step forward, fear washes over you.
Hang out with you guys.
You are scared of the beholder.
My mum to pick me up.
You are now scared of the beholder and cannot move any closer to it. You can save at the end of your turn, which is now. Marks, you can save for the slow effect at the end of your turn.
Was that wisdom?
Wisdom.
16.
Yeah, the slow effect is gone.
So I can still use my movement.
Yeah, you just can't move any closer to it.
So I can't move any closer.
No.
That's fine, because I need to go and grab my friend Jan for other reasons.
Running underneath where it is. If you shy away from looking at it, which I will allow you to do, you can run towards Jan. That's fine.
I would like to grab onto the currently ascending Jan.
Give me another athletics check to jump over the entire combat again.
8.
No. As you run towards the combat, again trying to make a bounding leap over to go towards Yan, you realise you're not going to be able to clear it in time and fall into a raging combat all around you. Weapons slashing, spells going off. You take 4 points of damage as you land in the middle of this combat. Currently, feet all around you. It is not looking good for you.
Oh, it's a good thing I'm here for the rest of the... Oh, yeah. That'll be your lasting memory of Kid Matt, is failing a jump.
Jan, as you are held in your state currently, being carried above everyone else in this telekinetic ray, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. The telekinesis does not give you any negatives on this. You can just roll for it.
I've got to save against all of them.
Go for it.
19.
19. A yellow beam...
Is he closer? How close is he to me?
he's in the middle of the combat. He's nowhere near you. The yellow beam streaks across your chest, but again, nothing happens. You manage to withstand the effect of the paralysis ray. Nope.
Thank God.
Flair, it is your turn. What would you like to do? 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yay! I would like to use my actual action to try and hide,
Yep.
if that's possible.
Cool.
Should I roll stealth?
Roll a stealth check.
That's a natural one.
If anything, you jump up and down, saying, "Here I am! Look at me!
Chloe, do you
I'm
want
Flair."
I can't
Chloe,
speak!
do you want a new die?
No, I've literally got a pile and I'm going through them.
Would you like
Okay,
donations?
well, I would now like to...
That was your action.
Yes, and now I get to try and save so I can talk and do all of the many things. I'm gone after this hour anyway, so...
Go on, try and save.
3 minutes. 5. Hey, I'm not genuinely angry, this is just...
I am. I'm furious.
Flair played in the
What's your
first
beef,
hour of this game, and she burned a man's face off by headbutting him and holding it there. She was cool at the start.
Is she finally?
Kid Matt was cool at the
Is she
start.
finally self-aware of her burning head?
Maybe that's it.
I do
Maybe
want
she's
to
so
remind
ridden by
you-
self-consciousness at this point.
Flair, I do want to... It's all good. I do want to remind you that your burning hair did stop the machine from going through the portal. That's been established. That happened.
Yes, but what you've not realised is there is going to be a paradox within this thing, because you said she could talk at the end, and I don't think she's ever going to save. So
We shall
the paradox
see.
that destroys the world will be her.
Would you like for me to save for her each turn?
Yes, I
We'll make that happen, because I'm going to describe what the cultists do to keep fixing the Hellfire machine, and then let you guys work on how you're going to deal with that in the future at the top of the next hour. This is the last, the 3 more hours of Adventure Wanted left today, and we're going to end this one here. Thank you ever so much for joining us. So, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, see if you can work out what's happening fully over the next 3 hours, if you can join us for that. If you can't, thank you ever so much for being here. We thoroughly appreciate it. We are on social media at Twitter at Adventurers250 and Adventurers Wanted on basically everything else, as I am led to understand. We stream everything we do at twitch.tv up there. That's why we have a webcam on, so you can watch these hours back to try and make sense of them all. That also means that you can go to Twitch and catch up on the adventure to date, although some of those videos will be on YouTube later because of rules about how long videos stay online, yada yada. Twitter, we also are live tweeting the entire event, so you're able to catch up on the story written down with GIFs and memes, as I'm led to understand. That's Nima and Naomi, our stage managers, doing a great job there, so do check us out on there and join in. Obviously, you have spent a £5 or £2 in the room today, and that's great. We normally have £5 player tickets, but I think they're all sold out for today. Sorry about that. But do join us if you can. That's always great. We have a Patreon online as well if you think that our mission of bringing role-playing to a wider audience and a more inclusive audience is an important one. We certainly do. There's also a donate button on our website if Patreon's a bit too much commitment for you. Otherwise, I have 4 lovely players, and we've run slightly over time, so if they can all give me a quick plug, a quick promo of stuff they do outside of the Fringe, maybe, as it's the last day, that would be grand. Or, actually, you have shows on, don't you?
Yes, I do.
There we go.
So I'll be carrying my rage from this session over into 2 shows. one of them is the show that I'm going off to do now. Or will I? I might sack off the whole thing and stay here. It's called.
That is your choice, Chaz.
Do it.
That'll create a time paradox. Don't do it.
It's called Courtroom Play, a courtroom play. Very silly, sort of Legally Blonde meets Hot Fuzz. Silly play. It's on at 12:25 at Pleasantstone. Not just today, but also tomorrow, if you're hanging about. And it's very fun. I think a lot of the team have seen it. Nemo, you were in yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, and Leo told me where to sit.
Oh, yeah.
It is good. I've seen it
It's
as
real
well.
good. So if you can, sit in the front right. It's
There we
a
go.
good spot.
Because that's where my lawyer table is. And I'm also in a sketch comedy double act. We're called Dirty White Boys. Our show's called Manners. It's on at 10:10 p.m. At Just the Tonic at the Caves. It is our final night tonight. It's a pay what you want show, so it's free to get in.
Thanks, Chaz.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Vic.
Thank you, and screw you.
It's been great fun playing
I
with
didn't
you.
write this alone.
It's been great fun playing with you.
Yes.
That's it.
So Vivek, I'm designing a tabletop RPG to convey some of my PhD research in environmental ethics. The details on that on my website, vsnt.uk/RPG. That's Victor Sierra November Tango.uk/RPG. You can find me on Twitter at Vivek Santayana.
It's a good thing this is Twitch stream, so you can catch that back. Chloe, do you want to plug anything?
I'll just plug myself. I have very little work from September onwards. I have some work. If you need someone to, write things, script edit, direct something, do live sound design during a show, or make a pen and paper role-playing game for you, then I have an unfinished website at chloemashtomakesthings.wordpress.com that I will finish when I get home. That's my
Hire
plug.
Chloe, get it trendy.
I will say, as your co-producer for this show and your dear friend, you are a wonderful artist, and more people should know that.
Flair takes 8 points of radiant, heartwarming damage and dies.
Just note that for the future.
I don't give radiant damage. Go on.
You're just in the
Give me my
necrotic.
notes back, Chaz.
He can't kill us if he doesn't have the numbers.
Go ahead, shut up. Go ahead.
While you're in Edinburgh, even if it's just for the Fringe, just check out some of our local attractions, not just the Fringe, because we do exist for the rest of the year. So we've got museums, we've got graveyards, we've got the dungeons. Hey, have some fun with our dark and horrible history.
Thanks, man. Yeah, enjoy Edinburgh. And obviously, I didn't mention at the top of the hour. I'm so sorry. Isla, our BSL interpreter, live interprets everything we do. I'm so sorry.
She's throwing you so much shade right now.
Oh, good. Well, that's fine. I'm A-okay with that. Yeah, Isla's fantastic. And if you need a BSL interpreter who can interpret live using D&D things, if not D&D things, anything else that works out, she's amazing. Anyway, thank you very much for your time today, guys. Hopefully see you for the last few hours. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your Fringe and rest of your life beyond, because there's only a day left. Thank you.